Touch of Evil came out in 1958 and is directed by one Orson Welles. It is considered by many to be the final film noir of the sort of original film noir slate, and then we would get neo noir and more. But in the meantime, we're going to cover the final film noir on the Golden Hour Film Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Film Podcast. I'm Harry Bailey, joined by my co-host, not guest host, Shane Mulvaney. Shane, how are you?
Pretty damn good, yeah. Great way to round out NoirVember, the second NoirVember I'll see in the month. But this obviously touchstone classic. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to get into. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's a good one to choose.
yeah, it's an Orson Welles film. There's always going to be a lot to talk about. First and foremost, one of the greatest opening shots in the history of cinema.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And total nightmare of a film scene to shoot as well. It's this incredibly long, elaborate shot that starts off where you see a person put a bomb in a car. We follow the car. We follow characters walking beside the car. We follow them get through customs, and then the car explodes. But it takes a long, long time. And God love him, the customs agent kept getting his line wrong, and it took them a whole day to shoot this, and they ended up using the last take because the sun came up, where Orson Welles, quite frustrated, said to the customs officer actor, if you don't remember your lines, just mime something, and for the love of God, do not say sorry, Mr. Wells, on camera. Because apparently that's what he kept doing, which I can't even imagine how frustrating that would have been for Orson Welles, or how terrifying it would have been for, the cameraman shooting it who has to deal with Orson Welles and the customs officer actor getting into it. But typical Orson Welles, he refused to fire the actor. Apparently Universal really wanted him to just get rid of the actor. Don't think they had a particularly high opinion of him after the incident, but Orson Welles kept him on. He wouldn't sack him. But
Fair play.
yeah, one of the greatest opening scenes in the history of cinema, in my opinion. That's not a massive spoiler or anything, but yeah, Touch of Evil, Shane. What did you know about Touch of Evil coming into it? You'd seen it before, hadn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd seen it before, so obviously I knew first of all, the backstory again, Wells again pushing to get his like artistic vision kind of fulfilled, and he did have to push really hard. He wrote letters to the studio and stuff, and yeah, like it did take him a big fight. There are kind of cuts where it's a studio version, and then there is a cut. Certainly, the cut I saw in this time was one that is as close. We didn't say it's perfect by any means in terms of his vision, but it's as close to kind of his original vision as there probably ever ended up being. So yeah, obviously it's an Orson Welles film. You've got so kind of take it for granted there's going to be tons and tons of studio interference and fights and all sorts going on. Yeah, I'd seen it before. Like I said, really admire it from a filmmaking point of view. Really enjoy it from an actual kind of end product point of view. And yeah, like I said, Orson Welles is just an absolute ogre in this movie. Like fair play to him. Like it's not a flattering performance whatsoever from him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he shoots himself to be just this absolute behemoth of morally, kind of ethically dubious would be a probably kind word to say it, but certainly very, very compromised character in quite a lot of ways, but also someone who is very good at his job. So from that point of view, maybe it's also something that he wanted to kind of picture himself as well.
Yeah, the irony of this is that Wells said that it was the most fun he'd ever had making a film because there was no studio interference.
Yeah.
This was before the film was then recut without his permission. And as well, the memo, the famous memo, it was like a thing of myth this memo that Orson Welles wrote to the studio pleading for them to edit it the way he had originally edited it. This memo was lost and thought to be gone forever. And then in the 90s, they found it in Charlton Heston's house, of all places. And that resulted in the 1998 recut of it, which is since widely considered the version to watch. It's the version I watch, anyways, the 1998 version, which is edited as close to, as Shane said, Orson Welles' vision as possible. It's got, as I said, Charlton Heston is in this. He plays a Mexican. But besides that, moving swiftly onwards, it also features one Janet Leigh, who, again, how Welles got her in this is a pretty amazing bit of Orson Welles-ism, a very Orson Welles-ism, I should say, which is that he knew that the studio totally lowballed her, but she didn't. He also knew that she didn't know this, and that the agent rejected it before even getting to her because of how much they financially lowballed her. So Welles wrote her personally a letter saying how excited he was to work with her. So that this is how she found out that her agent rejected an Orson Welles film, and she didn't give a shit about how much they lowballed the money. She was just disgusted that he would reject an Orson Welles film without consulting her, and he was like, "Do you realize how little money they offered you? Like, obviously, I'm not going to say it to you, but anyway." Very devious from Orson Welles because he very much got what he wanted. And as well, yeah, as you said, Orson Welles is in this too. He plays Hank Quinlan, and it is one of the greatest performances of Orson Welles' career.
Yeah, I agree.
Unbelievable acting performance. Honest to God, one of my favorite film noir villains ever. I would put him on the pedestal that high. He is so fantastic in this. And then, I mean, well, I'll get into a spoiler-free review in just a minute, but just the direction is, probably the best shot noir I've ever seen. It is just amazing what he does with the camera. It's all on location. It's unlike any noir up until that point that I'd ever seen. It's all handheld. The pushes, the pulls, the way he shoots so many people from under them to make them look unflattering. It's just amazing. Also, Joseph Kalea is in this, who you may all remember from Gilda. He was the detective in Gilda. So nice to see him rock up again. He plays Menzies, and of course, everyone's favorite person on the podcast, Akim Tamaroff, is in this too. If you do not remember Akim Tamaroff, he is he's the main guy that orchestrates the heist in Ocean's 11. Do you remember that amazing performance from Akim Tamaroff?
I don't. I'll be honest.
Amazing, really unforgettable performance from Akim Tamaroff. But
tell you what,
who
else is in this? And I think it's a podcast debut. Marlene Dietrich. The great Marlene Dietrich. That's crazy.
And Zsa Zsa Gabor, also just randomly in this film too.
Yeah. So
I think it is Marlene Dietrich's podcast debut. That's insane.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite actresses from like the 40s and 50s. She's so great. So yeah, great to see her. Kind of long-waited, kind of way too long. Certainly, way too kind of long after what it already should have been. Yeah, her podcast debut.
And I reckon we get into a spoiler-free review. Shane. Spoiler-free review time. What do you think of Touch of Evil?
Yeah, really, really enjoy it. Shot so brilliantly. Brilliant, like, kind of rumination on, like, good versus evil. And obviously Quinlan, who's obviously Welles' character, is, like, a bad person. A very bad dude. But also someone who is very good at his job in certain ways. And he has this, like, amazing reputation. But then you also juxtapose that with Charlton Heston's character, Vargas, who is just an innately decent person and wants to do the right thing. Like, he doesn't want to just, like, there's obviously there's a scene where he knows Orson Welles is trying to frame this kid for a crime and just was not willing to go along with it, which obviously in the year 2025 talking about police corruption, you're talking about obviously frame jobs and stuff. It's quite ahead of its time when it's a film about the police dealing with that kind of stuff. Like, I know it's not necessarily a new topic for film noir, but when you get this into the weeds with it, like it's another level entirely. Like you said, it's amazingly well shot. I think Janet Leigh's great. I think Charlton Heston's great. But yeah, the MVP in terms of acting it's Orson Welles for sure. And
Yeah.
yeah, he is, like I said, a grotesque ogre in this movie. He just has no redeeming features, no redeeming qualities almost. And again, we talked about the amazing ending in Lady from Shanghai. This has another amazing ending. So I think you, rating wise, I think maybe we'll get onto it. I think maybe you might be a little bit higher than I am, but
Mm-hmm.
very much recommend this. I very much enjoy it, and I think it's a great film more for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Russell Meddy, Academy Award winning cinematographer who shot this. Just blew my mind how this film looks. I absolutely am obsessed with it. Um, yeah, I absolutely think Orson Welles is the acting MVP in this film. I genuinely think he turns in a better performance in this than he's ever turned in his life. And he has some class performances that we've covered on the podcast already. You know, Charles Foster Kane, Harry Lime, uh, Michael O'Hara. But no, I think Quinlan, Detective Quinlan, is probably my favorite Orson Welles performance ever. He is just like intentionally so. He's just disgusting. He's a disgusting person. I saw someone say he's like a morally corrupt warthog, which is just a very, like, he's spitting and there's no good in that man. He just needs to get himself ahead, and wow, it's an amazing film. I think it is definitely, without question, my second favorite Orson Welles film. I love this movie. Absolutely blew my mind. And speaking of people's opinions on Orson Welles, I reckon we go for our final NoirVember Times Machine and see what our good friend Bosley Crowther thought of Touch of Evil. My God, Shane, I don't want to alarm you. This review is not written by Bosley Crowther.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Right.
Yes, it is a new guy at the New York Times, as far as I'm aware. This guy is called Howard Thompson. So, Shane, for the first time ever, my question for you is, did Howard Thompson like Touch of Evil?
I think there's more than enough technical quality, technical mastery here, and then on top of that, like I said, really good performances, especially from Orson Welles. That I think Howard Thompson, that's his name, Howard Thompson, will in fact have
Yeah.
enjoyed this movie.
Well, this is what Howard Thompson said. Again, this is a very long review that I'm just going to read the opening and closing to. So, you know, if you want to read the whole review, go read it in your own time. Howard Thompson said the following. Thanks to Orson Welles, nobody, and we mean nobody, will nap during Touch of Evil, which opened yesterday at the RKO Theatres. Just try. The credits come on, for instance, to a sleepy, steady rumba rhythm as a convertible quietly piles the main street of a Mexican border town. The car is rigged with dynamite. And so, a yarn-spinning director is the extremely corpulent Mr. Welles, who stars with Charlton Heston and Janet Leigh in this universal release. Two questions. The first to Mr. Welles, who obviously savours his dominant, colourful role. Why would a villainous cop, having hoodwinked the taxpayers for some 30 years, suddenly buckle when a tourist calls his bluff? And why Mr. Heston picked the toughest little town in North America for a honeymoon with a nice morsel like Miss Leigh? So, from what I've gathered, he liked it.
Yeah,
But
mixed.
yeah, strange way to end it. Normally we're used to, you know, the writing style of Bosley Crowther, who opens with "I hate this" and ends with "I hate this," or, you know, once in a blue moon will say that something's the best thing to ever happen. But yeah, this week on the Times Machine, I think the biggest takeaway is that Bosley Crowther didn't write it. I hope Bosley Crowther was doing okay on May 22nd, 1958. Bosley, hope you were doing all right that day. And now it's time for the main event. We are going to get into some spoilerific a spoilerific review, I should say, of Touch of Evil, directed by Orson Welles. Shane, what is your opinions on Orson Welles' Touch of Evil with all the spoilers there?
Yeah, so what I really wanted to bring up is the choice to have Quinlan obviously be uncovered to be essentially, well, it's not essentially, he is just a corrupt cop. Like, yes, he
Yeah.
is. Yes, he has a great eye and stuff, and yes, the people that he may have sent down may in fact have been guilty of these crimes, but
Mm-hmm.
Vargas uncovers potentially dozens of cases where he and Menzies, his kind of partner in crime, almost literally, um, essentially fabricated evidence or planted evidence or
Yeah.
you know hid maybe exoneratory evidence that might exonerate maybe someone or at least call into question their guilt and stuff. So like he's been doing this, like you said, for 20, 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
which is very interesting. Like I said, when I talk about obviously police corruption, the fact that they would go to those lengths to really kind of examine these issues, and this obviously a major issue. It's not just like kind of a vague idea of that police, that cop is on the take or he's a bit corrupt. Like they're really kind of spelling out the fact that there are kind of cops out there who, because they think they're in the right or because they just want to make a few quid on the side, they do. They're not all angels. They are very much like selfish,
Yeah.
self-absorbed, kind of self-driven, obviously morally corrupt people. So yeah, like the fact that's kind of my biggest takeaway is just how far the film itself goes with that, and especially obviously we talk about later on. Then he literally drugs Vargas's wife Janet Leigh
Mm-hmm.
to try and
That
make her
whole
seem like,
sequence is
yeah,
amazing. That whole
crazy.
sequence is one of the best sequences in the entire film.
Yeah, like if that's not morally reprehensible enough, like kind of obviously like framing people or at least making up evidence. Yeah, he literally drugs his wife to make it seem like she's a drug addict,
Mm-hmm.
in order to obviously have Vargas, his opinions or his expertise called into question and stuff. So just an absolute
Yeah.
monster, this guy Quinlan.
Yeah, that whole sequence is fantastic. So
Yeah,
essentially, Vargas uncovers that Quinlan, from watching him on a case, it kind of takes up the bulk of the beginning of the film. He learns that Vargas has no issues planting evidence because
yeah,
when they're investigating the exploding car that we talked about on the border in the opening scene, he finds a box with dynamite in it that Vargas knows that he checked earlier and was empty. And he said, no, there's dynamite there. He then goes and finds out that, would you believe, Quinlan had bought dynamite not that long ago. So, bought it to plant it.
yeah,
And then he goes deep diving into Quinlan's backstory, uncovers all these crazy frame jobs. And Quinlan's partner, Menzies, was probably privy to a lot of it,
yeah, definitely.
but maybe plays a bit dumb. He just says that effectively he wouldn't be where he was without Quinlan. Quinlan trusts Menzies, so that's Menzies' MO. But in the meantime, Grandy, who is a big time crime lord, would you go as far as to call him a crime boss,
Yeah,
crime
crime boss
boss
for sure.
in
Yeah,
Mexico? He's a crime boss in Mexico, and while all these Americans on the border are investigating this explosion that went from Mexico to America, what we also learn is that Grandy, his big rival and his brother's big rival, who's also a crime boss, is Vargas. So when Grandy finds out that Quinlan has a bone to pick with Vargas because Quinlan's quick to catch on to the fact that Vargas is trying to expose him, Grandy and Quinlan form a dangerous alliance, shall we say. And what results from that is wild. But yeah, the drug scene is unbelievable. There's one line in it that just floored me, which is effectively Quinlan spins this narrative that Vargas uh, is a drug addict and his wife is a drug addict and he can't be trusted. So then they kidnap his wife, played by Janet Leigh, and they drug her and they leave her in a bed. And he's in the room with Grandy, and then he takes a phone call, which he makes Grandy hold for him. So in the shot, you see Grandy holding the phone. Grandy's holding the base of the phone, and Quinlan's holding the receiver, and you can see both of them in this shot. And Quinlan says, "Things got a little out of hand here. Don't be surprised what you find." But like things hadn't gotten out of hand at that point, and you just see Grandy's face drop as he realizes what's happening here. And then Quinlan again is excellently shot, but then it just changes the whole context of the scene. First of all, you think, "Oh my god, this morally reprehensible guy has kidnapped a woman, drugged her to sabotage her husband's career." But he's going one step further, and even the guy who is helping him sabotage the career means nothing to him. Even this crime lord, who is kind of essentially doing Quinlan a favor, but also kind of, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Even this guy isn't safe from Quinlan's wrath, because Quinlan strangles him to death with a tie, and leaves him draped over the body of Vargas's wife. And then when she wakes up, that shot then of him with his bulging eyes looking over her dead is just unbelievable. It's so well shot. And yeah, that whole sequence is fantastic. But yeah, Quinlan, just one of the darkest guys in the whole thing. But yeah, you mentioned Marlene Dietrich in this film. She definitely plays more of a role than Zsa Zsa Gabor. Zsa Zsa Gabor's in it for less than 20 seconds, but Marlene Dietrich is very much much more prominent in this.
Yeah, so she's like, she essentially owns or runs this like medium house where she's like a tarot card reader or something like that. But basically, like, she has kind of a past with Quinlan where he's a former alcoholic, or at least an alcoholic who is a recovering alcoholic, who used to go there for like kind of binges and stuff before he got clean. But yeah, like, as a result of what's going on with this case, he does relapse and he does take to the bottle again. And yeah, like, I think she's obviously, she can tell that he's going down a very dark path, like morally speaking and stuff, and spiritually speaking. But then we do get the scene where, is it Menzies? He kind of finds Quinlan's kind of cane, or is that a cane?
Yes. Yeah.
In the room with Janet Leigh's character, and he obviously knows at that point that, like, he set the whole thing up. He killed Grandy, he drugged Mrs. Vargas. So at that point he's like, I need to kind of rub my hands of this, and so he teams up with Vargas, and then so it's an amazing scene then at the very end where they're kind of meeting on a bridge and stuff, and they don't want Quinlan to know that they're recording him and trying to get a confession on tape, obviously. But Vargas is down, kind of underneath the bridge, and trying to stay close enough so he can get a signal, but it keeps dropping in and out the signal. So it's like, just as he starts to kind of incriminate himself, he does the signal drops, and then he's trying to
And then we get the incredible line from Quinlan, which again, one of the scenes of the movie is where Menzies is like visibly shaking, and he's kind of giving away that he's being suspicious. And Quinlan says, what is that that you're wearing? And then we cut to Menzies and his face drops, and then Quinlan says, a halo, which is just, because it makes the audience think that he knows that he's wearing a wire, but no, he's actually recognized the fact that Menzies is trying to wash his hands in some way, but he hasn't pieced together that he's actually wearing a wire. He's just pieced together that he's morally trying to wash his hands of it. As well, there's another killer line just before that scene where he goes to Marlene Dietrich's character Tana's house. And he asks her to read his fortune, and she said, "You've got none. Your future's all used up."
But she ends up being right about that. Yeah, fair play to her.
Because that whole Menzies conversation goes south pretty fast.
So yeah, he shoots Menzies, and then just as he's about to shoot Vargas, Quinlan, Menzies kind of just about recovers, and he shoots Quinlan, and then stumbles into the water and drowns. And yeah, Tana's looking at the whole thing, and like I said, she's proven right. But then we get the kicker at the very end where, again, this isn't to justify planting evidence.
Yeah. So great.
This isn't to justify planting evidence, but it turns out who's actually right. That famous knows, and a famous kind of master of detection that he had this reputation for being. So
Yeah.
the guy Sanchez, who was obviously interrogated earlier, actually does confess to killing his girlfriend's father with the dynamite and to planting the dynamite in this car. So even though obviously he planted the evidence to be able to prove that he actually was right, that he was guilty about that all along. Like I said, it
Yeah.
doesn't exonerate him whatsoever for planting the evidence, but it does kind of leave a little question mark at the end of the movie where it's like, did he go too far? Didn't he? I mean, he definitely did. But like, it just asks that little question of the audience, like, did he go too far, or like how far is far enough if you're trying to get bad people off the streets and stuff. So, like, rogue cops are like kind of what would you call it, like kind of cops who go too
Like
far.
anti-hero cops.
Yeah, anti-hero cops, exactly it. Like say Vic Mackey from The Shield or something. Like it's a staple of, you know, even John McClane from the Die Hard movies. Like, you know, like cops who go way too far in the pursuit of justice and stuff. Like obviously it's a staple
Or
of,
a reference to last year's NoirVember in Where the Sidewalk Ends.
yeah, exactly, like cops who go way too far in the pursuit of justice and stuff. Obviously it's a staple of like literature and movies, or whatever you want to call it. But like this is probably one of the most overtly problematic kind of depictions of that. And then like I said, it
Yeah.
really does ask you the question at the end of it, like, where do you stand on that? And I think yeah, just
Yeah,
so
because
great.
what's interesting about Quinlan is when Quinlan confides in Tana, which happens more than once in the film.
Yeah,
You really find that like he's actually kind of into the whole medium thing because he goes off his gut with everything. He's
yeah,
like, I know in my gut they're guilty, but I don't know how to prove it.
yeah,
But then he's planting evidence, and obviously he goes way too far with the drugging scene. But like, yeah, it does pose questions that, wait, what if this guy was like, is maybe he is like he's like the guy from Psych, and
yeah.
his gut's just always right, but then he obviously, yeah, it's very interesting. I feel like we haven't really spoken a lot about who is actually the lead character in this. Would you believe? But would you believe Quinlan's not the lead in this, even though he's by far the most interesting character?
Yeah, I'd say
Is
Vargas is,
Vargas,
yeah.
played by Charlton Heston. What do you make of Charlton Heston in this film?
Yeah, it's fine. Like I appreciate the fact he wasn't trying to like necessarily ham up the accent. I think a lot of actors
Yes, thank God.
maybe would
Thank
have
God.
done that. Like it's bad enough that they're having him play a Mexican man, and they've definitely, I think, darkened the skin. Yeah,
Yeah,
it did seem to me.
and
Which
the
obviously,
mustache as well.
yeah, and the mustache, which obviously isn't great. Let's be honest, but you know, yeah, it is what it
It is
is.
the 50s.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's not great, but there you go. Look, I did. Like I said, I did appreciate the fact that he wasn't like putting on a Mexican dialect on top just to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
make it even worse. His performance
yeah.
is fine. It's charismatic. Like it's Charlton Heston, so he is a good actor. Never been an actor I've necessarily ever like beloved, like or you know, been one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorites or anything. But he's a good actor. He has charisma, and I did appreciate the fact that he's not like Quinlan, like you said, is a much more interesting character anyway. But
Yeah,
I think what a lot of actors would do in that situation is they would probably try and steal scenes here and there, and he's not necessarily trying to do that. He is just playing it kind of straight down the middle.
yeah,
And I think, yeah, fair play to him for that, because obviously his co-star is also his director, so maybe it would have been difficult to do that. But fair play to him. He doesn't necessarily like try and overplay it either.
yeah. I think I agree. I think he's very good in this. I don't think he overplays it at all. He's kind of the straight man of this film
Yeah,
because there's like with Quinlan, it's certainly not hammed up or like
no,
affected or anything, but
larger than
it is a
life
bit of
role.
a larger than life kind of bombastic kind of villain that we're dealing
Yeah,
with here. He's just like as bad can be. Like, so it makes sense that the guy opposite him is just like a normal bloke who is dealing with him, because if it's just a normal bloke, it really kind of exemplifies just how bad Quinlan is. Like, this is a normal guy. This is the worst guy ever.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I think he's very good. Janet Leigh's also good in this. Not her best performance. She's actually not in it as much as I thought she'd
Yeah,
be.
she
She's
doesn't
in
have
it quite a
much to
bit,
do. Yeah.
She's not doing an awful lot other than getting kidnapped and hanging out in motels that she doesn't want to be in.
Yeah.
She Yeah, she's very easy to kidnap, is what I'd say. There's a couple of scenes in this film where she like just blindly follows people she doesn't know. But yeah, she's fine in this. She's a great actress, but this wouldn't be an example of like her best performance or anything. But that's more so just because I don't think she had an awful lot to do in this. This was very much about Vargas versus Quinlan.
Yeah. Yeah, so I gave it 3.5 on both viewings. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Definitely would have it above Lady of Shanghai, even though I rated them the same. I actually would have, if you would ask me this like a week ago, I would have definitely said I prefer Lady of Shanghai, but yeah, the Irish accent just pissed me off so much on this thing. I mean, this definitely overtakes that for me. But like I said, I enjoy both movies. But yeah, this is just a lot more polished, and again, it's a lot more close to his original artistic vision. So from that point of view alone, it's worth a watch as well, because it's one of the few films. I mean, it did have some interference, but not nearly as much as other films that obviously he would obviously suffer from. So especially this version that we ended up seeing, it's a lot closer to what he originally wanted it to be. So yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely would recommend it.
It's a shame as well because apparently Wells only ever watched the film once, which is the time that he saw it, where it was cut to pieces.
Yeah.
He also said that his goal was to infuriate audiences with the plot, like in The Big Sleep. Um, but apparently, with the studio's cut of this, it was like incomprehensible what the actual plot was, because I haven't seen the studio cut. I do have it on 4K alongside the version that I have, but yeah, apparently it's like literally impossible to follow the studio version of this. But yeah, that being said, on a rewatch, I really enjoyed The Big Sleep, and on my first time seeing Touch of Evil, I absolutely loved it. I think Orson Welles' performance and Orson Welles with the camera is just unbelievable here, like genuinely amazing. I gave it 4.5 stars. One of my favorite noirs I've ever seen. Just Quinlan is a character I'll literally never forget. Wells' performance is, honest to God, one of the best performances we've probably ever covered on the podcast, in my opinion. And that opening is just unbelievable. Like not last week, on Tuesday, we talked about a Orson Welles film with an amazing ending. This is an Orson Welles film with an amazing ending, don't get me wrong, but it is like one of the greatest openings in cinema history. It is one of the best opening shots ever. Even against the best wishes of that damn security guard or whatever he was, border control guy. They managed to get it anyway. But yeah, absolutely loved this. Could not recommend it enough if you're a fan of film noir, if you're a fan of Orson Welles. And, you know, I would genuinely tell you to just go and watch the first scene of this film. And if that does not hook you, then fair enough, leave it. But I'm fairly sure it will hook you if you've never seen Touch of Evil before. And now, very quickly, Shane, I reckon we do a quick round of guess the movie. We'll do 3 rounds like we did the first time round. So I'll get one up now. If you would like to look away.
Yep.
And I'm showing it. Yeah. Go for it.
Right, so 7 questions, and then I guess, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Have we covered this movie in the podcast before?
We have not.
Right. Have you covered this director in the podcast before?
I don't think so, but let me just check.
Right. So that definitely
We have not.
That doesn't narrow it down, really. Is this an English language movie?
Yes.
Is this a movie from the 40s or 50s?
As in from either of those decades?
Yeah, like I say, in either of those decades, yeah.
This might narrow it down a bit. It's not.
It's not? Okay. How many is that? 4?
Yeah.
Jeez, I have no idea, to be honest. Is this a horror movie?
No. Right, if you get to 7 questions without any sort of idea, I'll tell you what we both. I kind of gave you a clue there. We'll get back to that.
So we've both seen it anyway.
Yeah, we have. I'll give you that without giving you a question. I was
Right.
gonna say if we get to 7 and you still have no idea, I'll give you what we both rated it on Letterboxd.
Right. Has this movie won an Oscar? Like for say best picture or best actor or something.
I will tell you now because I do not know that offhand because like you just don't know what the Oscars what they're.
Like one of the main ones, you know what I mean? Not like
Wow, it wasn't even nominated for Best Picture.
no.
No, it was nominated for Academy Awards but did not win any.
Right, so I've got one more to way. Jesus. We haven't covered on the podcast. We haven't covered this director before. Jeez, I've no idea to be
No.
honest.
It is a director with a lot of big films from that decade under their belt.
Right. Is this movie more than 3 hours long?
No, definitely not.
No.
Right. So you have one guess. So I'll tell you what we've both rated it on.
Jeez, I'm never.
You've not seen it.
Have I not seen it?
Oh wow! I am shocked that you haven't seen this film.
Right.
Okay,
That
that's a game changer. Okay, well then
That definitely
I
doesn't.
won't. Yeah, well
God,
then
God,
I won't do that. I'll tell you. Wow, I am shocked that you haven't seen this film. I was convinced that you had. Okay, this film. The clue I'll give you before your guess. Stars, far as I'm aware, a Golden Hour Film Podcast Award winner.
Ooh.
99% sure the main person in this film is a Golden Hour Film Podcast Award winner.
Who won? So Lee J. Cobb.
Oh no!
No.
They did not win a Golden Hour Film Podcast Award, but it was a tie, and we chose someone else over them. So that actually narrows it down even more.
Oh God, I actually can't even remember last
Yeah,
year's awards.
I actually remember that now. So this person was tied with the winner for votes, but we chose the other person over them.
I feel like it was a split between Lee J. Cobb and someone else, and we went with Lee J. Cobb. I don't know why I think that. I'll say Robin Hood. Is it the Claude Rains Robin Hood? Adventures of Robin Hood, whatever the fuck it's called.
The film, starring Edward G. Robinson,
Ooh.
was Little Caesar.
Yeah, no, I've not seen that. No.
I can't believe you haven't seen Little Caesar. You're gonna love that when you see it for the first time.
Right, my turn. Right, look away.
Yep, not looking.
2, 1. Okay, there we go. Right, 7 questions.
Have we covered this on the podcast before?
Yes.
Is this film from the 50s or later?
Yes.
Is this a film we covered this year?
No.
Okay. Is this an English language film?
Yes.
Okay. Did an actor in this film win a Golden Hour Film Podcast Award?
Oh God. Let me see. I can't remember, to be honest.
So that would make it either 12 Angry Men, Psycho. Oh no. No.
So we've got Lee
Oh.
J. Cobb.
Yeah. We gave it to Claude Rains. That's a stupid question. Because I think the only possible answer there is who won Best Actress? Shirley MacLaine did. Okay, so that would narrow it down to either The Apartment or 12 Angry Men. So yeah, I'll stick with the question.
Okay, well then, yeah, they did.
Is it The Apartment?
Yeah, it is.
Come on, I think that makes it all time a draw now, but I could be
is.
wrong with that.
No, you're right. I think yeah.
Right, I've got one for you here.
Ground up.
You can look now.
Have we covered this in the podcast before?
Yes.
Have we covered it in 2025?
We have.
Is this an English language movie?
It is.
Did we cover this in the first half of the year? So January to June.
We did.
Right. I'm just gonna get the schedule out now.
By knocking out the foreign language films, that actually does narrow down the first half of the year a bit, to be fair.
Yeah, it actually does. So, was this movie released before 1950?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Was this movie a Best Picture winner?
At the Academy Awards?
Yeah.
Nah.
No, so it's not The Lost Weekend. It's not Wings. Have we covered this director twice in the month of November?
We have not.
Oh, shit. I thought I was going to say it again. Crap.
Right, that's 7. You have to guess now.
That's 7, is it? Crap. Right. So it's not Wings. It's not The Lost Weekend. They won Best Picture. I'm going to say... I should have asked a better question. Goddamn. I'm going to say Brief Encounter.
It was Claude Rains in The
Castle
Wolfman.
The Wolfman. Yeah, I wouldn't have got that, to be fair. Wait, we do The Wolfman this year?
Yeah.
Was it not? Did we? Oh, fuck, we did. Yeah, it was January, wasn't it?
Yeah, through the years.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Right. Okay, my turn. Okay, look away.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there we go.
Is this a film we have covered on the Golden Hour Film Podcast?
Yes.
Is this a film that we have covered in 2025?
No.
Is this film directed by Alfred Hitchcock?
No.
Interesting. Is this film from the 1950s or later?
No.
Okay, so that narrows it down to anything we covered in October, anything we covered in November. Could have been Gone with the Wind. Is this film... No, it's a stupid question. I was going to say, is it in colour? But that would literally not narrow it down at all. So I'm not going to ask that question. Unless it is in colour, in which case I've just made a fool of myself. Is this a film noir?
No. That's 5.
Okay. Did we cover this film from October onwards?
Yes.
Oh, right, so that makes it either Dracula, Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, or It's a Wonderful Life, I think. So how do I ask a question that knocks out half of them? Is this film directed by James Whale?
Yes.
Oh, no. And I've one guess. So it's either Frankenstein, Invisible Man, or Bride of Frankenstein. Claude Rains has been name dropped a lot. So I think, going off that logic, I'm going to go with Invisible Man.
Bride of Frankenstein.
No.
You were so close.
Shit.
You were so close.
Okay. Okay. I've got one. This is my last one to show you all. If it'll just focus, that would be great. There we are. Right, go for it.
Right. Have we covered this in the podcast?
Nope.
Have we both seen this movie?
Oh, that is a killer question. Because the answer is no.
God. We haven't covered it, and not both of us have seen it. Next question: have I seen this movie?
Yes.
Right. So some I've seen and you haven't. Right. At least that kind of narrows it down a little bit. Have I seen this movie in 2025?
Have you watched it this year?
Yeah. Is it logged on my letterbox this year? Like.
Yes.
Right. I'm gonna have to go on my letterbox and just see if I can, if a question like arises out of nowhere like that. Have I liked this movie in the last 3 months? From, say,
3 months.
August onwards.
From August onwards, you have, yes.
Yeah, okay, right. Okay. Was this movie released before 1950?
Yes.
Right, okay, that does narrow it down a bit then. Have we covered this director on the podcast before?
We've not.
We haven't. Right, okay.
That's 7, so you have to guess.
Could still be loads of movies, to be honest. God. Right, I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm going to say it's either, right, I'm not looking this in, it's either Holiday, which is directed by George Cukor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Arsenic
Great
and Old
director
Lace,
who we haven't covered.
because we've done Frank Capra, so it's not Arsenic and Old Lace.
Nope.
Don't think it'd be Detour, because you've seen Detour anyway, so.
I have.
Brian Rock you've seen. You Only Live Once is Fritz Lang, which, actually shit, it could be that, you know, because you were talking about Fritz Lang earlier. I may have rumbled it. So it's either Holiday, You Only Live Once, Red River is Howard Hawks, which you have covered, so it's not him. Alias Nick Beale, John Farrow, could be there. Alias Nick Beale is option 3. Right, they're my 3 options. Actually, maybe The Big Clock, but I don't think, which I've gone for that recently. I'm gonna, To Be or Not to Be, it could be Ernst Lubitsch. We haven't covered him. It's either, I think, To Be or Not to Be, Holiday, or You Only Live Once. I think it's between those 3. I don't think it's To Be or Not to Be. You were just talking about Holiday, and you were just talking about Fritz Lang. So I think it's between those 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna lock in Holiday by George Cukor.
Well, I can tell you first and foremost that it's not the Fritz Lang one, because we have covered The Big Heat.
Oh shit! Yeah, we did. Oh crap. Well, at least I didn't lock
really
that
saved
in.
Yourself.
Yeah, at least
you did. You did save yourself by not saying that.
Right. Okay.
Shane, I went onto your letterbox and I chose the most recent movie that you watched, which
no,
was in fact Ernst Lubitsch, To Be or Not to Be.
God, you sweatbag. You sweatbag.
I just picked the most recent movie you watched.
I just didn't think you'd do that. Fuck. I did say it as well. I was genuinely considering it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just picked the most recent film you watched.
I had a good nice poker face there as well when I asked you. It was like the last 3 months.
That was one of my greatest performances I've ever had, to be fair, because when you asked if you logged it in the last 3 months, I had to pretend.
You were like, let me check. Yeah, let me check. Alright, my last one. Right, let me see if I can rustle up here. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Alright, go ahead.
Is this a film we've covered on the podcast?
No.
Okay, I like your question. Is this a film that we've both seen?
No, a lie. Let me see. No.
Okay, is this a film that I've seen?
No.
Whoosh. Is this a film from the 1930s?
Yes, it is.
Ooh, that's kind of clutch. Is it a... No, I'm not going to ask that. Is it from a director who we've covered on the podcast?
Yes.
Is it a Howard Hawks film?
No.
Is it an Alfred Hitchcock film?
Yes. So you have one question left, and then I guess.
Yeah, okay. So it's Hitchcock from the 30s that I've not seen, that you have seen, which kind of only makes it...
No, I haven't seen
one
it.
film. Oh, sorry, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it, no.
And I have seen it.
You haven't seen it either.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I probably gave you a bit more information there because I actually never confirmed that I hadn't seen it, but yeah. I'll give you that for free.
Sorry, I thought you said that one of us had seen it. Sorry. Okay. So it's a Hitchcock film that neither of us have seen from the 30s. So, again, I'm going to have to pull up the out letterboxd. 39 Steps, both of us have seen. Lady Vanishes, Shane has seen. The Man Who Knew Too Much, I think we've both seen. Sabotage, have you seen?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so we've both seen. Young and Innocent, we've both seen. Jamaica Inn, I've seen. Murder, I've seen. Which leaves those. It leaves me with Secret Agent, which I think is what it is. Rich and Strange, The Number 17, The Skin Game, Juno and the Paycock, and Waltzes from Vienna. Unless Shane went truly evil and went for the German version of Murder called Mary, which just so happened to be directed by Hitchcock, which I think would be an evil choice. So, I'm going to ask you, Shane, do you have Letterboxd on your person?
I do, yeah.
On the poster for this film, is there 4 or more people?
Yes, there are.
Right. So it's either Secret Agent, Number 17, or Juno and the Paycock. And I'm going to just, without even thinking, just go straight in and say the Secret Agent.
So close. Number 17.
Oh, Jesus.
You hit the post a couple
No.
of times there, yeah.
Oh, I hit the post twice. God damn it. Down to the last question twice. Well, what can I say? So I think I've no idea what the all-time score is, but I think it's a draw as it stands.
Yeah, as far as I know it is.
Someone can confirm that in the comments. If not, we'll figure it out between now and our next recording. Anyways, in the meantime, thank you very much. That was NoirVember on the Golden Hour Film Podcast. Next month, it's the classic editions. Yes, we have covering. That's not a sentence. We are covering 4 classic editions of films that you have probably heard of. They are Scarface from Howard Hawks, Little Women, which is somehow the podcast debut of Katharine Hepburn. Don't know how that's happened. Cape Fear with Robert Mitchum. Yes, we've got him straight back on the podcast after the success that was In a Lonely Place. And I did say it a while ago. I was going to say years ago, but that's literally impossible. Months ago, it's happening. We are rounding the year off with Adam West's Batman 66. So 4 really fun films. Again, a few first watches in there for both of us. I have never seen Cape Fear or Little Women as it stands. And what have you not seen, Shane?
I haven't seen Little Women. I haven't seen the original Batman. Well, the Batman 66. What's the first one? Oh,
Scarface.
Yeah, no, I've seen Scarface. So I've seen Scarface and I've seen Cape Fear. Yeah.
Cool. So a couple of first time watches for both of us then, for classic editions. Thank you very much for NoirVember. Obviously, 2 episodes a week was not the easiest to get out, but we succeeded. We got there in the end. I will also be rounding off in the next couple of days my reviews every day on Instagram and TikTok of Films Noir. But don't worry, short form content still very much coming out on the channel. We've lists planned, we've other videos planned. But yeah, into next month we're going back to 1 episode a week. This was just a little treat that we decided to do for NoirVember, and who knows, maybe next year we might do it again at some stage. But yeah, it was great to do it for NoirVember. Shane, what are your closing words for NoirVember 2025?
Yeah, last year was a big one. Hopefully this one has been as well. It's a little bit early for us to say that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to say that it is. I think there's been some nice uptick in the channel recently. So, and look, we've gotten to cover some really, really great movies this month anyway. So, you know, even if people haven't checked it out yet, it's always going to be there for them to check out at a future day.
And yeah, that was the episode of the Golden Hour Film Podcast where we covered Orson Welles' Touch of Evil. I have been Harry Bailey.
I have been Shane Mahoney.
And we'll see you all next week for Howard Hawks' Scarface. Goodbye.